Colin Douglas was diagnosed with esophageal cancer in October, but by April was declared cancer-free, and he and his family were overjoyed. But on May 20th he was given devastating news. He had secondary cancer, and it spread to his spine, lymph nodes and lesions. Weeks later, on June 11th, he was dead. Now his family has paid tribute to the fighter and say he made everybody laugh until the very end, the Hull Daily Mail reports. Annette Shreeve, Colin's partner of almost 3 years, said, "He was still making us laugh right until the very end, and he had a great relationship with the staff at Castle Hill. I knew him for almost 3 years, but it wasn't long enough." Colin, of Bilton Grange, East Hull, was a driver for disabled children, but his main loves in life were snooker, cars, fishing, and, most importantly, his children. His children were everything to him, said Colin's close friend Carl Gibson. He was so proud of them, and they meant the world to him. He had several hobbies, but I can't stress to you how much he loved his snooker. I'll never forget the time I asked him to take me and a friend to Skirlaugh, and you could tell he really didn't want to, but he was having kittens when we got in the car and he realized I had asked him to give Jimmy White a lift. His life was snooker, but he was also really into cars and fishing. He had planned to go sea fishing this year, and he was so excited. He had a fraternity with him, no matter what his hobby was. Colin's love was so great for snooker he taught his son Josh to play, with a touching final picture of the pair showing them as runners-up in a recent tournament. He won so many trophies and he taught me how to play, said Josh, 22. He was so fun-loving and was never down. His other love was drag racing and anything to do with cars. He would go on trips away with other car lovers. Josh's sister, 19-year-old Jacqueline Douglas, added, "He was very fun and brilliant and could make games out of anything. You were never bored when you were around him. I called him Hulk because he was so strong and tall. He was 6 feet and weighed nearly 19 st. Everybody was really proud of him and loved him." Colin's younger sister, Jacqueline Douglas, said, "He was a pain in the backside when we were younger, just like any brother, but he was so protective and made me the person I am today. I couldn't have asked for a better big brother." He lived in the same house for 21 years, and the neighbours all grew to love him as well. He was the perfect neighbour and would always help anyone out if they needed anything changing or looking at. They're all just as shocked as us that he has died, and I think Colin was the only person who came to terms with what was going to happen. He was so young, and we all were certain he would get longer. Colin died in Castle Hill Hospital after being cared for in the Queen's Centre of Oncology and Hematology for 3 weeks. Annette moved into the hospital to be with him for the final 8 days. "I can't explain how proud Colin would have been of everyone in this room for how they cared for him and looked after him," she said. Just before he passed away, he said his whole world was in the room with him, and that was us. It was such a shock from being told he had the all clear to suddenly being in that position, and I only wish we all had longer with him. Carl said he would have been so proud, especially of Jordan and Josh, and they were extremely proud of him too. He was laughing and cracking jokes until the end. He was an absolute hero. A funeral service is being held for Colin on Monday, July 2nd, at the large chapel in Chanterlands Crematorium. The service will begin at 1:30 p.m., with all friends and family welcome to celebrate Colin's life.